So as Borderlands 3 begins to enter its more calmer state of existence, more time has been given to uncover some of the minor bits of detail spread throughout the game. And the title of this video does not mislead, as we are going to be talking about how Jack may very well have been connected to the Jakobs family. You see, Jack is dead. He'll remain in the player's hearts forever. But that doesn't mean any and all lore about him ceases to exist. While he holds no significance to the main narrative of this game, there's one prominent side mission dedicated to Jack's earlier life. In this mission, we get an insight into Angel's childhood as she unlocked and discovered how to use her siren powers. Throughout the mission, we learn of why Jack ended up imprisoning his daughter into a machine as Angel had accidentally killed her mom. What many people focus on is the portrait of Jack and his wife when you first accept the mission. It is right smack dab in front of the player's faces. It is the first item you must interact with in this side mission, and everyone is in awe over finally getting some sort of look at Jack's wife. But this side mission isn't what I'm referring to. Very little information is gained on Jack's wife in this other than the exact circumstance as to how she was killed. But the most important thing here is the picture. I'm willing to bet Conrad's Hold is the first place you saw and encountered this portrait. I mean, how could you have missed it unless you've never played the mission? But what if I told you this isn't the only place the picture is located? In fact, you encountered it earlier in the game, but likely walked right past it. From what I've found, the only other location you can find this picture of Jack and his pregnant wife is in the Jakobs' very own manor. The Jakobs estate houses not one, but at least two pictures of these two. So with all the mystery and intrigue that surrounds Jack's wife, theories would lead you to believe that Jack had married a Jakobs. His first wife specifically, as she's the one pictured in this portrait. Jack did at some point remarry, but kept Angel's existence a secret. So when his second wife found out about it, she ran away and ditched him. All of this is revealed in Tales from the Borderlands.
Your daughter betrayed you?
Well, she didn't have a choice. After she killed her mom, she couldn't control her powers. Kept her hidden for years. Second wife found out about her. Bolted.
Now, nothing directly challenges the idea that Jack himself was a Jakobs. Jack Jakobs, or hell, John Jakobs, sounds pretty cool if you ask me, but simply based around what we've known about Jack and the traits that the Jakobs all possess, he doesn't fit the bill. So let's roll with the idea that his wife was a Jakobs. Is there anything that could possibly support that idea? Surprisingly, yes. Back in Borderlands 2, there were a ton of radio ads for each of the mega corporations. We got to hear from many of the CEOs and owners, each how they carry themselves in different ways and what they all value. Hyperion was, unsurprisingly, narrated by Jack. He had already become Handsome Jack by this point, and he has this line.
Holy rackspit! It's Handsome Jack!
Damn right it is. I just came back from rescuing the space vixens of Eden 6, and I thought I'd check in with my #1 fan.
Now the thing is, Jack at this point, as we all know, is egotistical, self-righteous, and semi-delusional. He describes his story as saving the space vixens of Eden 6, painting himself as a hero who saves babes. But that is going through the filter that is Handsome Jack. But as we all know, Jack had not been created when he first met his wife. He was still John, normal and nice. So who's to say a real-life story of an engineer who went to Eden 6 and fell in love with a woman didn't get twisted into rescuing a babe from a dangerous planet? Handsome Jack has a hard time seeing himself as something that's not a hero. But the biggest question mark that surrounds everything is why Jack's wife's face is scratched out. It's in all three portraits and it's unclear why. The one found in Conrad's Hold you would subconsciously associate with having been in Jack's possession, as Tannis makes it a clear point that she had gathered a variety of items from Angel's childhood, only further supported with many of the items having memories imbued into them. So it could be possible that this was one of Jack's pictures and he was potentially the one who scratched out her face. After Angel killed her, he couldn't stand to see his wife's face anymore. But with the pictures being found inside the Jakobs estate also being torn up, you can't help but question why. If this woman was a part of the Jakobs family, why tear her face out of the pictures? Jakobs is all about family. There's a huge emphasis on that message. So it doesn't seem like them to tear her face out of the portraits. Unless it was Aurelia's doing. We know at some point in between the games a series of events took place. Aurelia attempted to purchase the Jakobs Corporation from Montgomery. Montgomery was then killed by the Calypsos, and Wainwright and Alistair started dating at some point. So after Montgomery's death, Aurelia just took over the Jakobs estate and sided with the Calypsos. Events maybe not particularly in that order, but those are all relevant things that happened. So Aurelia has taken housing in the Jakobs Manor for an unknown amount of time. She didn't change much about the place, not as though she really could. One of the only noticeable changes she made was to some of the pictures that hang on the walls. She took it upon herself to hang up some more flattering images, making the place more comfortable, I guess. Point that I'm getting at is that it's possible that Aurelia had taken it upon herself to rip out Jack's wife's face out of the portraits. The problem that this idea faces is Aurelia has never shown any interest into Jack. There really is no motive for her to do so. I mean, why would she? Nisha was from the exact same game, and she was the one who had a thing with Jack, and those two would eventually begin to date. Aurelia's role was never to have any sort of romantic interest into him. She was there to be rich and cold-hearted. So while it does make sense that someone in love with Jack would rip out his wife's face from the portrait, it doesn't fit Aurelia in the slightest. Plus, based off of more assets found in the estate, it is clear that it was the Jakobs that had some sort of fascination with Jack. For example, when you enter the theater room, you can see movie posters for Handsome Jack Saves Pandora, which of course stars everyone's favorite doppelganger, Timothy Lawrence, as well as there being props on stage for a Handsome Jack play. The Jakobs, or at least Montgomery, had some sort of fascination with Jack. Undeniably, his story is interesting, but with the painting of John and his first wife, it seems to be more than just a normal interest in his story. The Jakobs clearly have some sort of tie to Jack. But finally, the argument many will say, but is the most boring of them all, it's a reused asset. The Jack and his wife painting was something that was made for this game, and they just copy and pasted it in areas it might fit and look nice. Similar to the cluster of papers with Jimmy Jenkins, the Crimson Lance, and the Firehawk, as well as the movie posters for Handsome Jack Saves Pandora, Monty Gets a Butler, and Typhon the Leon the First Vault Hunter, this portrait means nothing as to why it's here. It wouldn't be the first reused asset. I mean, why does Dead Gracie have a picture of Roland and Tina? And why does Lilith have that exact same picture in her room? It seems that there are many assets that are just pasted around the world, holding little to no meaning as to why they are where they are. Like I said, this is the most probable, while at the same time, the most boring possibility. I wouldn't have been so gung-ho on Jack having a tie to the Jakobs had I seen this picture around more. I don't claim that these are the only two places this picture shows up, but from my first-hand experience, I have only seen this picture in these two places. And because of the reveal of Jack's past in this game through the side mission, I think it a bold choice to reuse this image if it is indeed just a reused asset. You might question, what significance does this all hold in the first place? In all honesty, nothing other than just lore itself. Angel accidentally killed her mom, then she went on to kill herself, and Jack died as well. As far as we're aware, the only living person who had any sort of connection to Jack is his second wife, who ran away after discovering Angel's existence and imprisonment. Who she is, where she is, all unknown. But perhaps that's a topic for another time. But anyway guys, I just want to know your thoughts on all of this. Do you believe Jack had married a Jakobs daughter, thus why you can find his pictures all around the estate? And why do you think her face is ripped out of all of the images? Or do you think there's some other explanation going on? Any and all thoughts, be sure to let me know down in the comments below, and in the meantime, I'll see you in the next video.